What is up, everyone? ADAY here, and I put out a remix about a month, maybe a couple months ago, for a friend Acora of his song Machop. And well, I wanted to do something very different because his was a dubstep already, so I didn't want to regurgitate it in another dubstep song. So what I did was dropped it down to 100. I got this idea from it's Dat Six song Juice Box, I believe, was at 100 BPM, and it just gave me the idea to make something, dubstep influenced at 100 BPM. But you can see I go from 102 to 105. I don't know. I just did it to make it more exciting on the second one. Feel like I had more energy because I did it, otherwise I would have just ended the song here at a minute 40, and it just, I had to do something to make it more exciting, but still, basically kind of have the same flow-ish thing. So yeah, that is what I did. But anyways, hopefully it gets rocking and rolling, and there's not much glitching on this one.
I'm the killer.
Alright, so that's enough to play. I'll preview this later in the tutorial when we get there. But as you can see right here, I had a 2-bar tag. It is perfectly okay to do these type of things, DJs get pissed, but that's because they want the easy way, just to have it overlap and don't have to worry about actually dissecting a song and planning out their sets. They just want to throw shit in and have it work. Alright? Now, let's take that into consideration just a little bit, but let's, still not give a fuck and just do what we want. Because listen to how this transition would be without this 2-bar tag. Alright, let's do that again. It sounds rushed and it doesn't feel brought in. Now let's do the same thing. Let's take off 2 bars over here and see what this buildup would be like in the phrasing. So no matter what way you look at it, it sounds awkward and it does not transition. That is exactly why I came to this conclusion, adding a 2-bar tag. I tried implementing it here. I tried implementing it here. I could not get it to work. I wanted the phrasings to complete. How do I do that? Well, I add in a tag, and I could be a bar, 2-bar, 4-bar, whatever tag you need. Just make it, work. Make it worth it. Now, if you listen to it. So you see, it works so smoothly. There's no there's no going around it. I needed the 2 bar tag. I made the 2 bar tag worth it, and it sounds great on the transition now, rather than rushed. Again, if a DJ is not paying attention and they assume it's gonna end right here, they're gonna look like a fool mixing, and they're gonna get butthurt, and they're gonna say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, you can't structure your songs," blah blah blah. No, it's perfectly okay to write your songs like this. If it's just them being unprepared and they got burned by not actually noticing the song, you know. So, at the end of the day, do what you need to do to make your song represent you and portray your idea, and it really doesn't matter about anyone else at the end of the day. As long as the core idea is about you and you're able to put your full effort and feelings and thoughts out into the song, people are gonna like that a lot better than you morphing to all these opinions and then you just become what someone else could do. There's nothing unique about you if you just listen to everybody else and create what everyone else likes. So let's actually break the song down. I just felt like that was very important. Like, if you needed to get one thing from this overview track walkthrough, was that 2 bar tag. All right, so the rest are, drums. I think I layered the snare on this one. Let me see. Or maybe it was the kick. Yeah, so it was the kick. I think the snare too. Yeah, so I've clap top. But the kick, so I'm pretty sure the one he had, which is this one. So that's the kick he had in his song. Here's the full stem of the loop. Chop that up, but I wanted more out of the kick, so I got a top kick. Now together, some of the kicks are a little clippy and stuff like that, and unfortunately I did not clean it up and fix it upon release. But now, I'm aware of that, and you're only going to get experience by putting in the work. Mistakes will be made. So don't do what I did. You got to get a little more aggressive on the fades. See, now it's sounding good. So something like that is what I would end up with. And then maybe I would resample this down to 1 kick sample, so then that way I could write, and it'd be easier than doing that to all of these. But anyways, yeah, let's get to the snare now and see how I layered that. That was just, if you want more out of your kick, instead of making 1 kick do it all, it sounds much better when you make 2 kicks do the separate parts. But again, sometimes I just use 1 kick because it sounds good. Sometimes I just use 1 snare and don't layer it because it sounds good. But just know, when you want more out of it, you can get more out of it by layering. You don't have to make 1 thing do it all. And what this clap top thing was just on every 4th, just make it a little different, Which you may not hear this because it's going to the send. Oh yeah, so you can hear a little bit. It's just a little crunch. And it's literally like, when I do these type of things on like every certain snare, like usually the 2nd or 4th, I like to have it so it's like fuller and you're not sure why, but it just is. And that's why I couldn't hear it on the first one. It just sounded a little louder, a little wider, and that's because this is getting added on top. So let's listen one more time closely. And I'm going to solo the group so you could hear. This is like, psh. You hear it out here on the speaker, whereas that snare is still hitting in the middle. So I'm pretty sure I slammed these down. Oh no, I didn't. Let's see the snare. Okay, so yeah, I would have slammed that down more mono and had it playing in the middle. The kicks, wow, I didn't do it. Maybe that's why the kicks were clicking in the snares. Got to mono that sheesh. So hi-hats, opens, shakers, I think. Yeah, I didn't even use the shakers. I could delete that channel. Crash, ride, perk and toms, and effects and clicks. Alright, so as you were hearing, the percussions are really not that crazy. It's just constant ride, open, and then the hat shuffle thing. So what he did was create, I think, one sound and like resampled a bunch of different ones. That's why all these channels are here. But so what I did was because this was like the main identity of the song was the vocal sample and the sound. So I really wanted to use as much of that sound as I could without, making it just sound like a mashup, chop up of it. And that's when I started coming up with my sounds that I started adding in. Because I wanted it more of like a him, me, kind of like a contrast between the sounds. And this is where I came up with this bass line. And then you just go from there, little progressions, little chops, and then I'll play you the last drop now so you guys could hear that one. And that's the outro. So what to take note from was like the flow is kind of the same. It's just a little faster. I put it up a couple BPMs faster. And then I started adding in stuff like this. And just having like the flow bounce differently, but kind of still have like the same structure. This is roughly the same order, the sounds that come in, and roughly the same areas. But then I really wanted to like just get it dancey now that I sped it up. The 4x4 kick didn't sound too slow. And I really want that last part to go off. And this is the cold water saw and serum. And if you take that off, like listen to how like dull it sounds. With it. It really drives home that headbang and really gets, that energy flowing. Without it, it's just dull. That's why I really, in all my songs, I try to have offbeat things. So it's not like waiting for the kick or snare. You got something, to put your headbang into and bounce off of when you come back into the snare. That's the way I think of it. Because, your head could get lost out there. You're trying to headbang. But if you got that offbeat, you're going like this to that back and forth movement. And it just gives, I feel, pumping more energy. Like just one little thing is like literally nothing fancy, just an off note. Simple as that. It makes a world of a difference. Other little cool things I did was these pads, and I think this was his. Oh no, it was this one. Then I added these on top, and then the waterfall leaves, or waterfalls on leaves. EQ, flattened it, more flattening, reverb, auto filter with a big Q on it, resonance, a little panning. And it really just fills out the background.
I'm the killer. I'm the killer.
And I mean, that's the effects, you know, these are just risers, and pretty much all of that. I think I just added a few impacts and stuff was his. We went over the drums, they were pretty basic. We went over the synths, they were just basically drone stuff. Oh, was there? Oh yeah, that's the offbeat. Basses we went over, so the only last thing I could show you guys is let me hear it on the drop. Actually no, you could probably hear it better in the intro. Are these little things. So here's the full sample. But then if you add the little now listen to what it does to the drum. I'm going to turn it off for now. So I should have just looped the first part because the riser comes in, but if you listen carefully right there, you would hear it come out. So it's like it kind of comes in and I don't know how to explain it. It kind of feels like it crackles out. But yeah, that's the song. That's how I went about chopping up, and my idea of remixing this was I really wanted to keep his bass synth in there because it was a big identity of the song, and I didn't want to change the flow too much. I didn't just want to sample the sound, so I did minimal chops to his flow and just deleted out the parts where I thought I could replace synths and complement that and rework the song. That's why it says remix here, but originally, or when I actually released it, it was a rework, and that's why, I just wanted to rework what was already there and not really just go in and just change everything. So I hope this has helped you guys out. The main thing I want you to take from this is the 2-bar tag. Just know if you need it, do it. And a lot of the good places to do it is in the middle, because if you're doing it like right here and stuff, it's those are gonna really piss the DJ off, But in the middle of the drop, I feel like they should be playing out your drop anyways. And if they don't know to calculate those 2 bars in, well, they deserve to have a 2-bar off transition. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's what you want. That's why we're doing this, right? We're doing it because it's fun to us. We're doing it because we want to create music, and it's cool to see all the little things add up into a great song. So I hope this has helped you out in any way, any of these tips, or just something, to watch on your spare time. Whatever your reasoning for watching these are. It was good explaining this to you. It's also always good to look into my older work and see exactly what I've been doing wrong, and just remind myself, you're not always gonna have it. And when I was making this song, I thought I knew everything. Then you learn more, and then make the next song. You think you know everything, and you learn more, and it's a never-ending learning. So you'll never be perfect, but you'll always advance further to the next step, and that's the way to look at it. Like, who wants a finish line? Because then you're gonna get bored. I want to do this forever, so I hope it's infinity. I hope I can keep on pushing and seeing what is what. What is what. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.